Let me show you how I propagate my rosemary. First step to propagating is to make cuttings. I like to make cuttings from the tips of the plant about here, but you could also make a cutting here. If you cut a piece that's this long, you could make this into 2 cuttings. Now you have 2 pieces to make cuttings from, but I found that the pieces that come from the tip of the plant tend to be more successful. If you're going to propagate from a piece like this where the leaves are yellow and it's just not looking healthy, the plant will struggle to develop a root system because it's too focused on trying to keep this foliage alive. These pieces I cut earlier, even though they are cut from their mother plant, they are still alive, but they are struggling. They've gone into a shock, and this piece is trying to keep this foliage alive and trying to grow further. So what you need to do in order to help this plant develop its root system is to give it less foliage to manage. You only need a bit of leaves for the cutting to photosynthesize. You want to take a bit of the bark from the bottom of your cutting, exposing some of the inner layers. Don't scrape off too much. This is the middle piece that we cut off. This was the top piece. It's important you know what is the top and what is the bottom, because you don't want to be trying to propagate the plant upside down. With the rosemary you can tell what's the bottom because the leaves are white at the bottom and green on top. So that way I know that this is the bottom. So we'll plant it this way down. I wouldn't recommend trying to propagate a large piece because your cutting will struggle. This plant has no root system yet, so how is it gonna support this whole structure and its foliage if it doesn't have any roots yet to send water and nutrients up to the rest of the plant? So the smaller your plant is, the less work your cutting has to do in order to keep itself alive. As a soil medium, you want a good quality potting mix. Try and avoid putting in pieces like this that will just get in the way of the plant's root development. I used to do this all the time when I had my nursery. It used to be a good way of saving money because I didn't have to buy plants, and also a way of me making some money because I could sell the extra plants that I propagated. The next step is to dip your cuttings into a rooting hormone. Your rooting hormones come in gel form and powder form. I have the gel form. They come in 3 different types of rooting hormone. Number 1 for your softwood, number 3 for your very hardwood cuttings, and number 2 for your medium hardwood cuttings. And I think that this rosemary falls in that medium range, so I'll be using number 2. Your rooting hormone is an extract of the hormones that you'll find naturally in plants. So it's completely safe to use for your cuttings. You just dip it in, compact the soil around the cutting, making sure that the soil makes contact with your stem. So this rooting hormone is manufactured by PBR International. They focus on propagation equipment as well as rooting hormones and even fertilizers like this one. It costs about 250 Rand for all 3 rooting hormone powders, and it goes a long way. If you can't manage to get rooting powder, you could also use raw honey or aloe vera. These are natural rooting hormones. The last thing I need to do is water. I want to put in 2 skewers and plastic over this to create a humid environment that will help with the propagation. Within a month, this cutting should be completely ready. You want to put your plants in an area where it gets sunlight, but not direct sunlight. This garage of ours that has this type of roof sheeting is perfect, but you could also put it inside the house where it's at a well-lit windowsill, and that can also work. All the best with the propagation. Bye.